I want to tell you something that took me years of clinical practice to fully appreciate, and that most doctors never have time to explain in a 15-minute appointment. If you have high blood pressure and the advice you've been given is to cut back on salt, that advice is not wrong, but for the majority of people over 60, it is dangerously incomplete. And incomplete advice is its own kind of problem because it sends you after one small piece of a much larger puzzle. You cut the salt, the blood pressure barely moves, your doctor adds another medication. You wonder what you're doing wrong. You're not doing anything wrong, you just haven't been told the full story. Here's what nobody explains in that appointment. Salt can temporarily raise blood pressure, but salt alone does not cause chronic high blood pressure. What causes blood pressure to stay elevated for months and years are deeper, largely invisible physiological forces: nutrient deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, metabolic changes that accumulate quietly inside the body, especially after 60. And here's the part that genuinely excites me as a clinician. Many of these causes are addressable, not with an extra prescription, with real targeted changes that get to the actual root of the problem. My name is Dr. Emily Carter. I've spent over 20 years in clinical medicine, and today I'm going to walk you through the real causes of high blood pressure that are almost never discussed, and exactly what you can do about each one. Before we go any further, drop a comment right now and tell me, have you been told to cut back on salt as your primary blood pressure advice? Just write yes or no. I want to see how many of you have been given this as the only explanation. Let's start at the beginning. Why salt advice alone misses the point. First, let me be clear about what sodium actually does, because the mechanism matters. When you eat salt, sodium pulls water into your bloodstream. Blood volume increases, and that increased volume pushes against your artery walls, which raises blood pressure. That part of the explanation is accurate. But here is what almost nobody tells you about what happens next. In a healthy, well-functioning body, your kidneys detect that pressure rise almost instantly, and they respond by excreting the excess sodium and water through your urine. Blood volume drops. Blood pressure comes back down. The system self-corrects. This is why many people eat a high-sodium diet their entire lives and never develop high blood pressure. Their kidneys are handling it efficiently. Salt sensitivity varies enormously from person to person, and assuming everyone responds to sodium the same way is one of the most persistent oversimplifications in cardiovascular medicine. So when blood pressure stays elevated even after someone has cut their salt intake, that is a clear signal that the problem is not how much sodium is going in. The problem is why the body is struggling to process and excrete it. And after 60, the reasons for that struggle become far more specific and far more fixable than most patients are ever told. Let's go through them one by one. Cause 1: magnesium deficiency. The first and most overlooked driver of high blood pressure in adults over 60 is a deficiency in a single mineral that most people have never had tested: magnesium. Here is how it works inside your body. Magnesium stimulates the production of nitric oxide and prostacyclin, two compounds whose job is to relax and widen your blood vessels. When magnesium is adequate, your blood vessels stay open and flexible. When magnesium is low, those vessels remain more constricted than they should. And constricted vessels mean elevated pressure. Now here's the part that should concern every adult over 60. Magnesium deficiency is not rare. Some estimates suggest that nearly half of all adults in developed countries do not consume enough magnesium. A meta-analysis of 22 studies found that people with lower magnesium levels consistently had higher rates of hypertension, and the lower the magnesium, the higher the risk. Why is deficiency so common? Two reasons that have gotten worse over time. First, the modern diet, heavy in processed foods, refined grains, and sugar, is almost entirely stripped of magnesium. Second, and this surprises people, eating large amounts of sugar actually causes your kidneys to excrete magnesium in your urine. So, sugar doesn't just fail to provide magnesium, it actively depletes what you already have. And there is a third factor specific to our era. Modern farming has progressively depleted the mineral content of soil. The same vegetables that provided abundant magnesium 40 years ago now contain measurably less. You can eat a technically good diet and still be deficient. The fix has two parts. Prioritize magnesium-rich foods, leafy greens, legumes, nuts, seeds, and dairy. And consider a supplement. A meta-analysis of 38 randomized controlled trials found that magnesium supplementation at around 365 milligrams per day for 12 weeks produced meaningful reductions in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. In patients already on blood pressure medications, supplementation produced a systolic drop of nearly 8 millimeters of mercury. That is a clinically significant number from a mineral supplement. Discuss it with your doctor. Cause 2, insulin resistance. The second cause is one I consider the most underappreciated blood pressure driver in adults over 60, and it has nothing to do with how much salt you eat. Insulin. When insulin levels are chronically elevated, as they are in insulin resistance, prediabetes, and type 2 diabetes, something specific happens in the kidneys. They stop releasing sodium, they hold onto it, and when the kidneys retain sodium, they retain water alongside it. Blood volume rises, blood pressure goes up, and critically, this happens regardless of how much sodium you consume. This is the mechanism that explains something doctors see constantly but rarely connect out loud to their patients: why people with insulin resistance almost inevitably develop high blood pressure. The two conditions travel together not by coincidence, but by direct physiological cause and effect. And here's the clinical observation that changes how I approach every hypertensive patient over 60. Blood pressure often improves significantly when insulin levels drop, even before meaningful weight loss occurs. The insulin was the lever, and nobody was pulling it. This is also why cutting processed foods and refined carbohydrates tends to lower blood pressure more effectively than a low-salt diet in many older adults. You're removing the fuel driving chronic insulin elevation, which releases the kidneys from their sodium-retaining state, which allows blood pressure to fall. There is a companion to insulin resistance worth naming here: fructose. The simple sugar used extensively in processed foods and sweetened drinks drives the body to produce excess uric acid. High uric acid then blocks nitric oxide production, stiffens blood vessels, and further impairs the kidney's ability to excrete sodium. It is a secondary mechanism that compounds the damage from insulin resistance considerably. The fix: reduce processed foods, refined carbohydrates, and added sugars, particularly fructose-heavy drinks and sweetened products. This addresses both insulin resistance and uric acid simultaneously. In many patients, I have seen blood pressure normalize from this change alone, without any additional medication. Cause 3. Potassium deficiency. The third cause is the nutritional counterpart to sodium, and it is almost entirely absent from the standard blood pressure conversation. Potassium. Potassium works on blood pressure through two distinct mechanisms. First, in the blood vessels and kidneys, potassium directly relaxes blood vessel walls and signals the kidneys to release excess sodium into the urine. In other words, potassium does exactly what a well-functioning kidney is supposed to do naturally. It counteracts sodium retention. Second, and this is the mechanism most people have never heard, potassium acts in the brain. When potassium levels rise in the cerebrospinal fluid, they dampen sympathetic nervous system activity. That is your body's fight or flight system, the system responsible for raising blood pressure under stress. Potassium quiets that signal. It reduces the stress hormones that keep pressure elevated. The problem is that the modern diet has this relationship exactly backwards. We consume far too much sodium and far too little potassium, which is the precise opposite of the nutritional environment the human cardiovascular system evolved to function in. When you combine low potassium with low magnesium and elevated insulin, the body is simultaneously losing its natural pressure-lowering tools while gaining the biological drivers that push pressure upward. The effect is cumulative and it compounds over decades. By the time someone over 60 is diagnosed with hypertension, this imbalance has often been building for 20 years. The fix: increase potassium through whole foods, root vegetables, potatoes, sweet potatoes, vine fruits, tomatoes, cucumbers, leafy greens like spinach, legumes including chickpeas, lentils, and beans. Many of these foods are also high in magnesium, so you address two deficiencies simultaneously with the same dietary shift. Cause 4. The compounding effect. Why these causes work together. Here is the insight that ties everything together. And the reason why treating blood pressure with a single medication or a single dietary restriction so often produces disappointing results. High blood pressure after 60 is almost never caused by one thing. It is caused by multiple small physiological stresses accumulating simultaneously. Low magnesium keeps blood vessels constricted, elevated insulin keeps the kidneys retaining sodium, high uric acid from excess fructose blocks the vessels from relaxing and compounds the kidney problem. Low potassium removes the natural counterbalance that would otherwise quiet the nervous system and flush the sodium out. Each of these factors, in isolation, might raise blood pressure by a modest amount. Together, and they almost always appear together in adults over 60 eating a modern diet, they create what I think of as a perfect physiological storm. Every mechanism that should be protecting blood pressure is compromised at the same time. This is why the one-size-fits-all approach fails so many people. You cannot solve a 4-variable problem by addressing only one variable. And when salt happens to be the only variable your doctor mentions, not because they don't care, but because there is genuinely not enough time in a standard appointment to explain all of this, you are left with an incomplete map. Understanding the full map changes what you do next. What about medications? I want to address this directly because I know many of you watching this are already on blood pressure medication, and I want to be absolutely clear. Nothing in this video is a reason to stop or reduce your medication without talking to your doctor. Blood pressure medication saves lives. It reduces the risk of stroke, heart attack, and kidney failure, and for many people it is genuinely necessary. What this video is about is addressing the underlying causes that drove blood pressure up in the first place. Because here is the clinical reality I have seen repeatedly over 2 decades. When patients address their magnesium deficiency, reduce their refined carbohydrate intake, restore their potassium balance, and lower their insulin levels, many of them find, in consultation with their doctor, that their medication requirements reduce over time. Not immediately, not without monitoring, but the underlying physiology improves, and when the physiology improves, the numbers follow. Medication manages blood pressure. Addressing root causes gives the body a chance to regulate it again on its own. Both matter. They are not competing approaches. They work together. Your action plan. What to do. Starting this week. Let me bring everything together into a clear, practical plan. 5 things you can begin this week. Action 1. Increase magnesium-rich foods immediately. Leafy greens, nuts, seeds, legumes, and dairy are your best sources. If your diet is already reasonable and your blood pressure is still elevated, have a conversation with your doctor about magnesium supplementation. Around 300 to 400 milligrams daily is the range studied in clinical trials. Action 2. Reduce refined carbohydrates and added sugars. Not as a weight loss strategy, but as a direct intervention on insulin levels and uric acid production. Processed foods, sweetened drinks, and refined grains are the primary drivers of chronic insulin elevation in adults over 60. Removing them removes the mechanism that is forcing your kidneys to retain sodium. Action 3. Increase potassium through whole foods. Root vegetables, leafy greens, and legumes should become a consistent part of every day, not an occasional addition. Many of these foods simultaneously deliver both potassium and magnesium. Think of them as blood pressure medicine that also happens to be food. Action 4. Ask your doctor to check your uric acid level at your next appointment. It is a routine blood test that is not always included in standard panels, but it is one of the most informative markers for understanding blood pressure that isn't responding well to treatment. If it is elevated, targeted dietary changes and in some cases medication can produce rapid blood pressure improvements. Action 5. Think in combinations, not single fixes. No single change here will transform your blood pressure overnight, but addressing magnesium, insulin, potassium, and uric acid together simultaneously, consistently, removes the compounding effect that has been pushing pressure upward for years. The body responds to that combination faster than most people expect. Here is what you now understand that most people, including many who have been managing high blood pressure for years, have never been clearly told. Salt is not the enemy. Salt is a trigger that a healthy body handles easily. The real question is why your body stopped handling it easily, and the answer in most adults over 60 involves a combination of magnesium deficiency, chronically elevated insulin, low potassium, and excess uric acid, each one quietly compounding the others. None of these causes require a new prescription to address. They require understanding and the targeted, consistent actions that follow from that understanding. The damage these causes produce is not instant. It accumulates over years. But here is the hopeful part. The reversal, when you address the root causes early enough, can happen surprisingly quickly. Blood vessels that are still responsive can recover. Blood pressure that has been elevated for years can come down. But the window matters. The longer these physiological stresses go unaddressed, the more structural damage accumulates in the blood vessel walls, and structural damage is far harder to reverse than functional imbalance. Start now, not next month, this week. Go to the comments and tell me, which of these causes surprised you most? The magnesium connection, the insulin link, the potassium imbalance? I read every comment and your responses shape the videos I make next. If this gave you a clearer picture than you've had before, share it with someone you know who is managing blood pressure after 60. The information in this video could genuinely change the conversation they have at their next appointment. Subscribe, because next week I'm covering the specific foods research shows can meaningfully lower blood pressure in adults over 60 and the popular ones that are a complete waste of time. Take care of yourselves, stay curious, and keep asking the questions your appointments don't leave enough time to answer. Medical disclaimer: this video is for general educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Blood pressure management must be individualized based on your complete medical history and health status. Never adjust or discontinue blood pressure medications without first consulting your healthcare provider. Always work with a qualified medical professional before making any changes to your diet, supplements, or treatment plan.